Almost all individuals develop behaviors and physical skills around the same time. For example, children start expressing their feelings and develop social communication within the first year of age. However, when a child is unable to develop some of these particular skills, it may refer to as a neurological disorder called autism. Autism spectrum disorder is a complex neurodevelopment disorder that affects 1 in 100 children in Australia. To be diagnosed with ASD, there are some behaviors that must be seen, including repetitive behaviors, difficulties in communication, impairments in cognitive skills, and getting distracted by small things. However, not all individuals with ASD have the same symptoms. The disorder has different severity levels and different intellectual skills. Autism is thought to be genetic, which eventually affects the brain, especially communication and social parts. However, the specific genes causing the disorder are still unknown. The rate of people diagnosed with autism is rising worldwide, recently being 1 in 59 individuals comparing to 1 in 150 in 2002. In Australia, the estimated expenses of a person with ASD is $35,000 per year. Because ASD affects sensory information, sensory overload is very common in people with ASD. Let's first experience what a neurotypical person would see on a walk. During an overload, smell can be strange, light is seen brighter, and noises are louder. Now let's experience what a person with ASD would see on a walk. These behaviors and sensory overload are due to changes in underlying brain structure. The brain of a person with ASD is characterized with overproduction of neurons in the prefrontal cortex, which is located behind the forehead. You would think that more neurons would make the brain work better, but that's not the case, as it creates miscommunication between brain regions. Researchers found that gray matter volume at the frontal and temporal lobe in people with ASD is larger than a neurotypical person. Gray matter is responsible for sensory perception, memory, decision-making, and emotions. On the other hand, there's a slight decrease in white matter, which is responsible for communication between regions of the brain. So for example, a child might smell perfume as a really strong smell, and that's due to increase in gray matter, which is responsible for sensory perception. However, the child can't express their feelings, so they might start crying instead of saying they don't like the smell. That's because the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for language and smelling area, are unable to communicate properly. Let's now look at the different parts of the brain affected by ASD. Amygdala is the danger detector of the body, which initiates the fight or flight response. The amygdala is tend to be larger in many people with ASD. That's why they have emotional stress and anxiety. Abnormalities in the cerebellum, which is responsible for coordinating complex body movement, is found in people with ASD. In addition, abnormalities are found in the brainstem, which control breathing and heart rates. That's why people with ASD might have difficulties breathing and rapid heartbeat. Other regions of the brain can also be affected, and one of the complications they might face is epilepsy. As for the diagnosis of ASD, magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, is a preferable method, as it allows us to investigate the abnormalities of the autistic brain and observe the amount of active neurons. For example, MRI revealed that most people with ASD have a larger brain volume, especially in the dorsolateral frontal cortex. This method also revealed that males are 5 times more likely to be autistic than females. In addition, electroencephalogram, or EEG, is also highly used in this field, as it records electrical brain activity, which shows how active different regions of the brain are. For example, in this picture on the right, we can see that there is more brain activity in people with ASD. Both neuroimaging and electrophysiological studies provide important insight about the neurobiology of ASD. ASD is one of the most complex health issues in society, and still many areas of the research are missing. In the future, more studies on the specific genes that correspond to the disorder would help scientists understand the full picture of ASD and discover medications that help limit overproduction of neurons. To conclude, autism spectrum disorder is a very complex neurodevelopment disorder. It is characterized with impairments in communication and social interactions. People with ASD have overstimulation of neurons, which explain their common behaviors. So, although their limbic system, which is involved in emotions, is developed, they are unable to verbalize their feelings due to lack of communication. Despite the fact that people with ASD have developmental issues, they are not mentally challenged and don't have a lack of intelligence. Yet many grow up to be successful, talented, and important individuals in society.